to Lead Live, reminding you of your personal genius and how you think in order to actualize what you desire.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us here at Lead Live, Leadership, Excellence, and Achievement on Demand. Today's topic is joy. My name is Dr. Elnora Tena Webb. Birth name, baby girl Mitchell. Family name, Enriquez Moat. There's so much more to my story, just like there's so much more to your story. Our stories are remarkable. And the degree to which we can get through whatever the challenges are, were, can be, we get to remind ourselves of something that a brilliant young lady chose to lead with, and that is joy. Thank you, Alyssa, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly, Greenwell, founder and CEO of Black Joy Parade. Annually, this woman, along with other brilliant folks, put together a parade that it doesn't matter what the weather conditions have been, including this past weekend. That parade went on. I understand upwards of 25,000 folks were out last year or in the years past. This year, there was easily thousands of folks out there, even as the rain poured. Oh my goodness. The vendors, all the smiles, their paraphernalia, extraordinary creations, because they're just natural. They leverage their genius to create a new design so much that causes many of us to just want to go and purchase in order to bring back to our spaces and share as gifts and celebration of joy. That was awesome. And I didn't dress appropriately. I had on several dresses to keep me warm. That was good. I had on thick socks. I had on pants underneath those beautiful flowing dresses. And then I had on inappropriate shoes that were very comfortable and even a little cute. That wasn't the point. And yet they just took in the rain, and my dresses, the rain shower seems like the rain just went up the dress and I had to leave early. I wasn't thinking at all, but I had a lovely time. So thank you to all of you, the performers, my goodness, the musicians, the folks who brought those gorgeous horses, the folks who were there to guide us, let us know what streets to go down, where there were more performances, more vendors. Oh my goodness, you could be there for hours and not see all the vendors. And I didn't see all the vendors, only to find out that at least 2, if not 3 of my nieces were there. And we're having a fabulous time. And many other folks I know, and many, many, many others I have yet to meet. Thank you for sharing your joy. Can you imagine just being surrounded by Black folks? Latino folks, white folks, Asian folks, young folks, beautiful Native folks, folks native born, folks foreign born, all in the same space, a rainy day, experiencing joy just because we can. I was reminded yesterday, went to a conference, a women's conference, another awesome event organized by women who care to make a positive difference in the lives of other women. And in doing so, just like that Black Joy Parade, affect the rest of the lives that are experiencing those lives. And so there was beautiful women throughout that room. I don't know how many thousands. Young people, elders, folks, baby boomers like me, millennials, Generation X. I can go on, all in there and in their own way, living who they are, beautifully dressed, casually dressed, however they were dressed. They were there to receive and in their own way to give through networking, representing organizations for sure, but most importantly, showing up and being themselves. And hopefully, because of the models that were there, so many gorgeous models, just like at the Black Joy Parade, they were being their authentic selves. And that was part of the topic. And one of the presenters, a brilliant researcher, he reflected on his research, why he chose to study happiness, and the initial reaction of his dad, who's a top professional in his field, and others who thought this young kid by the age of 7 just was fooling around. And then when he went to college, hadn't stopped fooling around. And this whole notion of happiness. And the assumption is when people are focused and focus on being happy and joyful, oh, they're just at play. That's so easy. No big deal. They'll get a clue and they'll, be fearful like the rest of us. They'll understand life is a struggle like the rest of us, and they'll default to that more tough and difficult experience of being distraught and distressed, etc. And what the research demonstrates, reveals over and over and over and over again that choosing to be happy, choosing to experience joy requires much more energy, thought, strategy, concerted effort, strength, resilience on the part of us as humans than fear, than distress. Because our minds at the core, or I should say our brains, because our minds are far beyond the brain. Our brains are structured, developed to be in that flight mode, to be in that fight mode, to be in that fear mode. And yet it requires concerted effort to choose to experience joy, to experience happiness. So just like that gentleman who talked about the research at the conference yesterday, it encouraged me to reflect, as well as others in that room, a room of gorgeous, beautiful women, professionals for the most part. A few were looking for gigs, and then others are just hanging out with those significant others, daughters, mothers, grandparents. As I reflected, I thought about that. Happiness, joy. I choose to show up with a smile. I choose to feel it first, to experience it inside, and then to share it. And even given nonsense, and especially when there's nonsense, I choose to stay in that space. And yes, it does require energy and effort. And most people have historically told me something comparable to what they told that gentleman over the years. Get a clue, get a backbone. Why are you happy? Things are terrible. Work to understand that and be in that space. And what they didn't know was that I understood more than what they thought I was demonstrating. In fact, what I was demonstrating was a kind of resilience and strength that they were demanding. And yet, too many of us correlate strength, resilience with fear, distress. And so we believe that we've got to be in that space in order to demonstrate our strength. And I want to remind us that joy itself is a strategic act. To be in the space where you are joyful and you encourage joy, where you're happy and you incentivize to create happiness, that requires strength. That's much more powerful. And it overtakes fear, distress, disease, distractions. Heck, we allow it to, it gets us out of the space of depression, whether mild or severe. Talking from research, I am reminding even myself of lived experiences. Joy is a strategic revolutionary act. And to stay in joy, wow. Happiness requires strength, requires resilience. And to choose to pay it forward, you talk about power. I honor each one of you who choose to live in the space of joy, who work strategically to illuminate real happiness and ensure that it's sustained within the self in order or in part to facilitate that in others. I read a poem recently, or I call it a profound statement, that was created by Marion Williamson. And the gentleman who became some more of who he had the capacity to become, President Nelson Mandela, read that at its inaugural address. And it basically reminded everyone who could hear it, choose to read it, choose to embrace it, that we are born to be exceptional. And we get to evidence that. Yes, I understand some of us are born with so-called all of our limbs, all of our sentient or sensory faculties on overdrive or at least functioning or whatever. And then some of us don't have those things that we consider to be normal. And yet if we slow down and pay attention, those individuals are perfect in their so-called imperfection. And when we pay attention to ourselves, we're also perfect in our imperfections. And the most powerful thing is to honor it, respect it, welcome it in a way where we can be joyful, value the self, not just for that sake alone. That's powerful. In order to be who we have the capacity to be now. Life, I firmly believe, is about growth. It's about living authentically. That's part of facilitating growth. And it's about reminding all of life of its capacity to be its greatest and greater self. So thank you again, Alyssa Greenwell, founder, CEO of Black Joy Parade, the woman who put together the Women's Conference in California, the thousands of vendors who come out in different spaces and share the result of their creativity, who share the strength, the understanding, their commitment to us, because they're facilitating what? Health and wellness, because they're providing free massages. What are they doing? They're providing performances that elevates our spirits, causes us to want to dance, to smile. And yes, we may be embarrassed and look around and it's me dancing or smiling. Or some of us are just free flowing. We just do it. And then it has a spillover effect. And others are sharing the nature of their work and how it's about ensuring that everyone has safety, security, are housed, are clothed, are fed with nutritious substance that further edifies not only the physical, the emotional, the spiritual well-being, definitely the emotional well-being. all of you who come out, who make it a point to give in your own unwavering ways, our elders, who had that twinkle in the eye, for some of them for the first time in a long time. Others never lost it. And children, oh wow, who remind us of our capacity to just be. Ah, and then, of course, the other night, I shouldn't say of course, because I rarely go out, folks. And yet I'm making a point to get out of my way and do just that, to experience life. And I want to thank Mr. Muhammad for reminding me of his extraordinary white destiny and inviting me to more than one event. And as I listen to this harpist, who we fondly call harpist from the hood in Oakland, California, oh my God. As a gentleman who I saw, he and his partner at Yoshi's the other night said, this woman just had me transfixed. It's a group out of Los Angeles performing, and she was an invited guest. And oh my gosh. Now, what I didn't know until recently, as she played with her own band in San Francisco on the top of this Vista location, you could see around the city. It was awesome location. But more importantly, in that room, in that space, indoors and outdoors, you could see the brilliance of this harpist also through song. I didn't know the woman could blow. She could sing. Oh my God. She sang. Oh, wow. All I could do is close my eyes and receive. Yeah, I may have appeared to be asleep. I was so very much awake. It reminds me of when I'm in dream state. I'm more awake in my dream state than I am now because I have allowed my spirit to float wherever it needs to in order to remind itself of its capacity. Wow. And then I think about the melodies, the many melodies, historical, that are in my mind that really allows my trillions of cells to rejuvenate those that are ready to transition, leave, and bring on new. And oh my goodness. And one of them, my favorite songs, if not the favorite, although I love many, is Happy by Pharrell Williams. Oh my goodness. Reminds me of being able to go to a building, touch a button, and the roof comes off the building. And all the beauty from all of life enters that space. And then, of course, when we're able to push the button, we'll close. Well, in the meantime, happiness flows in, is throughout, remains. Wow. And then I think about joy to the world, where faith is manifested. Joy to the world. One day I'll sing for you. I like to sing for myself. I don't want to scare anyone, so I don't do it often publicly. Joy to the world. The joy experience when listening to Rochelle Farrell. Oh my God. You not heard that woman blow? You've got to check her out. When she sang Everything Must Change with George Benson and Toots Williams at the Montreal Jazz Festival in 1991 with conductor Quincy Jones. Oh my gosh. So many magnificent people across this globe, when they open their mouth to share the genius, takes my whole being to a space of unadulterated joy, happiness. And guess what? We get to do that for each other. When we allow ourselves to experience the love that's unconditional, that exists for every one of us, independent of everything that we think about ourselves. When we experience the respect for self, the support for self, independent of whether we're getting externally, we feel it inside. Oh my goodness. It's why we have the values that we have for our business, Signature Solutions Corporate Results. The F being the eternal set of faith, family, finance, fitness, and fun. The A in faith being authenticity, awareness, affordability, appreciation, accountability, and action. The C in face it, creativity, collaboration, community, clarity, and commitment. The E in face it, education, equity, efficiency, and excellence. The I in face it, integrity, ingenuity, and innovation. The T in face it, trust and transparency. Those are the core values that will ensure that we as a team not only grow, and we welcome those of you who want to be on this journey with us. We thank you for those of you who are already on this journey with us, because our aim is 1 million families plus financially independent and building generational wealth. Wow. What efficient means to be in such a space where we can facilitate greater level of peace internally in order to experience world peace. Ubiquitous win-win values that really have at their centerpiece financial well-being of individuals, families, and businesses across the globe. That's what we're about broadly. At the essence, all that is to say that we want you to be happy in as many moments as possible, and we already know it takes work. We want you to experience joy all the time, not just when there's a special event, like our grand opening last week. And we are so appreciative for those of you who joined us at our opening of Palladium Philanthropy, our nonprofit center for financial education. This is where my profit organization gets to put half of its revenue literally into it to fund it. This year, all the funding comes from our revenue. No external funding, from our revenue, in order to fund free financial education for youth and adults. You want to be part of that campaign? Join us. Just contact us. It's easy. Very easy. The benefits of ensuring people are financially educated on the path to building something that perhaps their family has never experienced, or maybe experienced it many years ago, like my family did. And because of other destructive variables, and we can name numerous, because too many of us know them, they were eroded. And yet, that history, while interesting and may be useful, is just that. It's history. The power is in now, creating the tomorrow that we want to experience. So the mindset we use, the actions we take based upon the vision, the mission, the core values, and strategic priorities will ensure that the tomorrow, the next moment we experience, is much better, more profound, so that not only are we financially free, having built generational wealth, we're in a place where we know joy we worked so hard to create, where not only are we maintaining it, it's a commitment and it's possible. Remember, you don't need money to create joy. Joy is a state. Joy is a decision. Happiness is a state. It is a decision. The degree to which we experience joy and happiness now, we assure successes, not the other way around. Too many of us are encouraged, are reminded, are programmed to believe happiness comes when we are successful. No, folks, that's a misnomer. That's a misrepresentation of real reality. Too many folks achieve so-called success and they're not any more happy than they were the day before, because success by any indicator is not directly responsible for happiness or joy. Joy and happiness is directly responsible for success. So much more to share. I'm going to leave it at that. And just remind us all of what some of us do so well. Some of us who are not named, but we watch the behaviors and we're blown away. Well, let's leverage those behaviors that blow us away to be in that same space of creation. We can change things like that for the greatest good. Start with self. And for those of you who always do that every single moment, start with the self. We honor you. We thank you for your example. We're extremely grateful to be in community with you. And until next week, back at our regularly scheduled date and time, Wednesday noon, be joyful. Enjoy the happiness that you are. Why don't?